Hocus Pocus, a teenage boy named Max, and his little sister move to Salem, where he struggles to fit in before awakening a trio of diabolical witches that were executed in the 17th century. 300 years have passed since the Sanderson sisters were executed for practicing dark witchcraft. So returning to life thanks to a combination of a spell spoken before their demise and the accidental actions of Max, the new kid in town, the sisters have but one night to secure their continuing existence. 300 years ago, the Sanderson sisters are hanged by the population of Salem, but Winifred casts a spell saying that they will return when a virgin lights a black candle in their house. In the present day's 1993, the newcomer to Salem from Los Angeles, Max, is bullied at school by two bullies, and he has a crush on his schoolmate Allison. In the Halloween night, his parents force him to go with his sister Dani to catch candies. While their parents go to a party, the Max and Dani stumbles upon the house of Allison, and they decide to go to the house of the Sanderson sisters. Max lights a black candle, and he brings back Winifred, Sarah, and Mary Sanderson. So now the witches wants to suck the essence of life of children to stay young and survive for more than one night using their spellbook. But Max, Allison, and Dani want to avoid their wish to come true. Hocus Pocus begins in a small town in 1693, where a teenager named Thackeray Banks realizes his little sister, Emily, has been lured into the woods under the control of a witch. Thackeray urges his friend Elijah to hurry back to the village and alert the elders. He then rushes after Emily and eventually finds the house where Emily has been captured. Inside the house, three aging evil witches, the Sanderson sisters Winifred, Mary, and Sarah, are brewing a potion in a cauldron. Winifred, the eldest sister, highlights that the potion, when drank by a child, has the ability to restore the witch's youth. Before the witches can force the potion into Emily, Thackeray stops them and engages in a brawl with Winnie, and is overcome. The sisters then suck the life force from little Emily and their youth is restored, then cast a spell on helpless Thackeray that he take the form of a black cat for eternity to suffer due his failure to save his sister. Immediately after, the angry villagers wielding torches capture the sisters and prepare to hang the trio. Thackeray's father demands that Winifred divulge his son's whereabouts, but she refuses to say. Winnie's spellbook reveals a prophecy that on All Hallows' Eve, a virgin shall light the black flame candle and resurrect them. The sisters are then hanged, and Thackeray the cat rubs against his father's leg, but the father, not recognizing him, pushes him away. 300 years later, in Salem, a teacher tells her class about the Sanderson sisters, since Halloween is approaching. Max Dennison, a new student just arrived from California, isn't a believer. Max attempts to befriend fellow classmate Allison as the school closes for Halloween break. While cycling home, Max cuts through a cemetery and runs into two teenage punks named Ice and Jay, who tease him, later stealing his trainers. So when an irritated Max returns home, unhappy about his new location, he finds solace in his room and daydreams about Allison. Dani, his little sister, then frightens him and demands that he take her trick-or-treating that night. At first he refuses, but is later forced to take his sister into the neighborhood to collect candy. After an embarrassing confrontation with Ice and Jay over surrendering their candy, Dani storms off on Max and he goes to reconcile with her. The two then find the mansion of Allison's family, and they meet Allison and engage in a conversation about the Sanderson sisters, planning to break into their home, now an abandoned museum dedicated to them. Dani is anxious about their Halloween prank, and when they break into the mill house, Max foolishly lights the black flame candle to impress the girls. Odd occurrences begin to happen. The floorboards rattle and shake, and the Sanderson sisters return home. The three kids hide while the sisters comically settle back into domesticity after a 3 centuries-long absence. Dani soon shows her face, claiming that she was the one who lit the candle. To protect his sister, Max and Allison attack the witches. Max fools the witches by setting off the modern sprinkler system, making them think it is a terrible magic that will destroy them. In order to distract the witches from following him, he steals the spell book and is introduced to Thackeray, an immortal cat with the ability to speak. After escaping the Sanderson sisters, Max, Allison, and Dani follow Thackeray Banks into a cemetery to be safe on hallowed ground. Banks shows them Billy Butcherson's grave and his sister's headstone. They soon realize he is Thackeray Banks, and that the legends are true about the witches and their killing his sister. The witches discover they have been tricked and devise a plan. The candle spell only brings them back for one night. They plot to suck the lives out of children before sunrise, so that they can stay alive and youthful forever. They need to find Max since he has stolen the book. The witches set out into the modern world and are constantly confused as to the ways of the world in the early 90s. Max, Allison, Dani, and Binks go to City Hall, crowded with people attending the Halloween party so that they can find their parents. When the witches enter City Hall to find the children, Max's parents do not believe them, and he is forced to tell the party attendants on stage that the witches have come back to life. Everyone laughs until Max points at the Sandersons. The spotlight soon switches to Winnie and her sisters, and everyone stares. But Winifred quickly turns the tables on Max, dazzling the partygoers by pretending they are entertainers and breaking into song and going on stage to do a dance number. Max and the gang flee the City Hall party and hide from the sisters behind a restaurant alley. An old oven gives Allison an idea on how to deal with the witches, and they go to their high school. The witches enter the school since Mary has trailed the scent of the children. Thinking it is a prison for children, the witches search the halls and follow a voice. Actually a tape recorder, and step into a pottery furnace. Allison and Danny then close the hatch and turn the furnace on to burn up the witches. In celebration, Max and Donnie head home with Allison, deciding to keep Binks as their own cat. They fall asleep, certain that the witches are gone forever. But Winnie, Mary, and Sarah soon emerge from the furnace and are restored to their normal form. Time is running out, and they are desperate since the children have the spell book and they can't remember the spell for the Eternal Youth Potion. Along the home, the witches run into Ice and Jay, who insult them, and the witches take the boys captive and place them in cages at home. At the Dennison household, Allison and Max wake up, both feeling sympathy for Binks in his feline form. They open the spell book to see if they can reverse his spell, and the book emits a signal that Max, Allison, and Donnie cannot see. So the Sanderson sisters see the signal from across town and go into the cleaning closet to find new brooms. Winnie takes flight on a house broom along with Mary on a vacuum and Sarah on a mop, and they head into the suburbs to retrieve the book. Max and Allison are stopped by Binks, who slams the book shut. Allison has an eerie feeling that something isn't right. So acting on her uncertainty, she and Max fetch some salt from the kitchen as a defense mechanism if the witches do return. Max and Allison's impromptu moment of romance is interrupted by odd noises from upstairs, and they go to see what happened. So Allison sees that the book is gone, and Max pulls back the covers of Danny's bed to reveal Sarah. Max and Allison and Binks are off to get Donnie back. Sarah sings a gentle spell from the skies to summon all the children of Salem to the Sanderson house as additional sources of youth. Sarah returns home, and Winnie is fixing up the potion in their cauldron while Donnie is tied to a chair. Max enters the Sanderson house in time to save Donnie from consuming the potion, knocks over the cauldron, and tells the witches the sun is rising. The sisters fall to floor, but are tricked as the ray of light turns out to be the headlights of the vehicle the rescuers took to get there. The sisters have the opportunity to suck the lives of the children that are approaching their house, but Winnie is determined to have Donnie's soul first since she called her ugly. There is just enough of the potion left for one child, so the witches take off after the kids. After losing the witches, Max, Allison, Danny, and Binks return to the cemetery where the witches can't set foot on hallowed ground. Danny is protected by a ring of salt as Billy, the zombie, joins them to defend her since he also has a hatred for Winnie. The sisters swoop at them from all angles. Winnie knocks Billy's head off, and Donnie carelessly leaves the safety of the salt ring to retrieve it and give it back to him. Winnie captures Donnie and is about to force her to drink the potion when Binks rushes up a tree and leaps, knocking the potion from her hand. Max catches the potion and threatens to smash it unless Winnie releases his sister. But Winnie threatens instead to kill Denai if Max does this. The standoff is resolved when Max suddenly drinks the potion, forcing Winnie to take him instead. Winifred frees Danny, claiming that Max is a fool to give up his life for Danny. Winnie then attempts to suck the life out of Max, as Allison, Billy, and Donnie prevent Mary from helping Winnie by holding on to her flying vacuum's cord. Sarah tries to help Mary, and a tug of war ensues, ending when Allison, Donnie, and Billy release the cord, causing Mary and Sarah to fly off helplessly into the sky.